Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the beautiful city of Willemstad here in Curaçao, in the westernmost territories of Luxembourg, where we are holding Eurovisn't for the first time ever in the Western Hemisphere, the first time ever in the American continent, and we're so delighted to bring Eurovision to new horizons. It's been it'll have been more than 10 years since the first ever opening ceremony back in Escharalzet, and time has flown, and we're so excited to be host to a number of incredible artists tonight who are going to talk with us and share more about themselves and their artistry, their songs for Eurovision. Of course, I'm Anna, and with me I have the incredible Dumitra, aka last year's winner. Hi, Dumitra. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing amazing. I'm a little bit jet lagged because I had to get here very quickly from Eschralzet, but it's a great cure for it's a great cure for getting jet lagged to get on the beach in this beautiful weather and have an amazing time here in Willemstad. I really hope that it'll be a really nice event to remember for everyone. So, we are going to be talking to 22 acts from all across Europe and the world. And we're starting off the night with last year's hosts. We had an amazing time with them in Milan. We're talking, of course, about Dovland, and Dumitra will be talking with their artist, right?
Yes, I will be. And and we have a familiar face with us in Dublin. Representing Dublin, I mean, sorry. So, and the artist for Dublin was represented 10 years ago. Isn't that crazy? It's, you guessed it, Serenia and Violet. So how did it feel to be back in Eurovision for the first time in 10 years, and what has changed since you were last on the stage performing for your country?
Dumitra, thank you so much. Well, firstly, loved hosting last year, and of course, getting to perform is an internal act, but I'm glad to be back on the stage as the representative of my country, and especially to be back in Luxembourg because that's where I first sang at Eurovisn't 10 years ago, too. Wow! The parallels are crazy. But that aside, a lot has changed over these past 10 years. When I began, I was still relatively new to the music scene, but now I have a successful album, Marinera, went platinum on the Dovish charts, lovely wife, 6-year-old daughter who we adopted from Baduka, and a lot more on my plate ever since I became, a mother. And I've had to take care of our daughter. And with it, I haven't really gotten too many chances these days to make new music. But I knew I had wanted to do something for Eurovision again. Then the time was right. And since it's been 10 years since you were all blown away by Tiketi, I knew I wanted to participate once more with another self-written song, this time one inspired more so by the current state of my life. My life has become a bit more busy over these years, but every change in it so far has been for the better, to be frank, since my wife Christina and I started dating, and we eventually ended up getting married, and that's what this song is about, basically, how your life can bloom like a flower as time goes on. How it can get more beautiful, and you can have faith that it will grow from nothing into something. Like seed turns into a plant with a beautiful flower.
Wow, that's beautiful. And
And actually, we're really proud because we have fellow finalist Emily Halliday, who competed with us, and she's here with us here in Willemstad. She came up with a name and encouraged us to go down this route. So we owe a lot to her, and we're grateful to have her here. We now feel great pride to represent Lebanon, and we really hope that we can make it to the final for the first time in 10 years. It would be a huge honor.
But tell me, what is the message of your music, and how do you feel it's conveyed in Pact?
Well, we care very deeply about our music. It is our blood. We live it, we breathe it. And myself, Duncan and Joseph, we all feel a connection to the music we are performing. It is reflected not only in Pact, but also across our whole debut album, Into the Maelstrom, release that is coming soon. But we really feel that it's conveyed none more so than in Pact. It's actually, for one of us, it is a true story. And we hope it carries us forward in both Eurovisn't and the music scene. And as we say, it is a love song. It is a love song that is true to us. It's about a pact, the promise of love. It can't be broken. And there's a moment of chaos that emerges in moment of calm. Sorry, forgive my English. That emerges in the chaos. And we really feel that the pacts that emerge from these moments are the strongest pacts that can be made. So we really feel passionately and deeply about this entry, about this song, and we're really looking forward to performing it on stage.
Well, we really hope for the best for you, and that you can get your country's first qualification in a decade. Good luck here in Willemstad.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh dear, what is this about the audio recording? Oh no. Oh no. Let's see.
Oh.
I'll start Craig, and then maybe we'll have a backup. Let's see.
Now recording.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, well, at least you notice now. And anyway, you're
No, we missed
we're
Clement.
grateful for your help in recording this, because it's
Wow.
no, don't worry. I will.
Yeah.
I'll make a backup audio recording with Craig, and then if there's anything that happens, hopefully we can sync the two together. But hopefully, yeah. But thanks for letting us know. Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's recommence. So, who are we talking with now, Dimitra?
We are talking to the Netherlands, who are debuting as an AQ this year. So they will be represented by Bellafus and Wit. So hello Bella, welcome to EV20. First thing we'd love to know from you is how do you became a singer?
Well, I personally do many things. I paint, I make music, I've published a book, and I love to dance. Actually, having studied dance and not music. The other things started as hobbies, but I can't let go of them. I love doing different things. It makes you feel much more aware of which medium suits which idea better. And sometimes, if for instance I try to write something and it doesn't work out, I use the same inspiration for a painting instead, and it comes out great. I guess I feel very blessed to have all those possibilities, and that my parents gave me the opportunity to go on a journey to explore who I am and what I love, and I'll be forever grateful to them for that.
Oh, Why did you decide to participate in STEM?
Well, the fact that it was a themed edition persuaded me especially to take part. I've always loved STEM, but this was especially interesting and creative, I think. I don't know if there have been themed national finals in EV before, but I think it's a very good idea. The restriction of having to work within a theme makes you explore your creativity and challenges you to do different things. The song Vit is inspired by the Hans Andersen fairy tale, The Little Match Girl. It's not a literal interpretation, because somehow I've always felt the story was about substance abuse and a deep longing for something that cannot be found in this world. A few years back, I myself lost my best friend to substance abuse. I still miss him so much, and the fact that there will never again be someone who will accept me like he did is very hard. And when I go through bad periods, sometimes I wish he would come and get me and take me with him. I would just love to hear him laugh once again. Also, I spoke with Little Aki, who suggested I use this tale for inspiration, and she said that when she was in the hospital as a baby, all she said to her parents was, "Take me home with you," for the entire hour that they visited. And then when her grandma came, she said, "Please, Grandma, will you take me with you?" It's uncanny, as that's exactly what the little match girl says to the vision of her grandma in the fairy tale. So that and the substance abuse angle became the inspiration for the lyrics. Doing STEM 6 was a big, big blast, such an experience, and a real roller coaster of deep feelings and lots of fun. Both Akis and Desk have been such great help in producing this song, and the other candidates were great, especially Davis and I got really along so well. Personally, I was rooting for him to win. I loved his song, and he's such a wise, likable person. And one day I hope I can live like him in a little house in the remote area and just do all my art away like he does.
Wow. Thank you for the interview. So,
Oh, my pleasure.
and good luck in Eurovision. So, who are we talking to next?
Well, next we are talking to Slovenia, and Slovenia this year are represented by DreamYard, a non-binary artist bringing the song Desolating Censure. So, DreamYard, your song hasn't been released yet. Can you tell us a little bit about what we can expect from it?
My song is something very close to my heart. It has a very deep message, and unfortunately, I think it is something that far too many people can relate to nowadays. But I want to tell them that it's okay, and things won't always stay the way that they seem. As for the song itself, it has a Slovenian rap part, which I think a lot of people will like. Anyway, the instrumental will be released tomorrow at 14 o'clock EVT. I can't wait for you all to join me, and I hope that you all enjoy the music.
Sure, we will. Now, what can we expect from you in terms of on stage?
The staging for me was very important. I wanted to make sure that many people connect with me as an artist. I think sometimes people get swept away in the thrill of it all and forget that we're real people. So, with that, the clothes I wear will be real simple, and so will the staging. But with that being said, it'll still be a beautiful and meaningful staging. All will be revealed before semifinal 2. Good luck, everyone! Vote Slovenia!
Wow, good luck, Slovenia, and we hope you have a great time here in Willemstad. So, Dimitra, who is up next?
Up next is a very special country, and this is their first ever opening ceremony. This is Mam Caucasia. And they will be represented by Mam Caucasia. Their hard is Mam Caucasia, and their song is not Mam Caucasia, it's Mediocres. So, what is Mam Caucasia and the purpose of the project?
Well, hello. I am Mam Caucasia, and this is my friend here who is also Mam Caucasia, and this is my other friend who is also called Mam Caucasia,
Kill
and
it!
together we are Mam Caucasia. And what are we about? Well, let me tell you right now. Yeah, here we are, by the way, we're looking fierce. So, Mam Caucasia is all about the struggle of our country called Sir Caucasia. And we're like, Sir? No, get that Sir out of here. Ma'am. Because Sir Caucasia has been a total flop. Sir Caucasia has not done anything at this contest despite being a region with immense cultural background. And what is the reason why? It's because Sir Caucasia is still very patriarchal society where everything is done by mediocre males. And people like us who were trying to break out and show our artistry with the world, we were ignored. So we might have done a little we might have done a little light bombing of the Caucasian broadcasters, maybe. Oops. And and they were forced to withdraw. You know, they were still signed up as a member of the EB Jugend, but just to do nothing, to sit on their asses. So we were able to take over as the broadcasters for Caucasia, and we asked to be renamed Mam Caucasia, and we're going to make up for thousands of years of subjugation and being, having our voices silenced.
And your next question is, I hope you are not totally upset by this question, but what the fuck is a mediocre? I hope I hope you're not outraged at me. I know this is a very deep topic to you.
Well, a mediocre is a combination of the words mediocre and ogre, and it relates to mediocre males who are the ones who see women with the possibility of excelling them and don't have the capacity to keep up to our speed, so they have to try to shut us down instead. And our song is taking a stance against that, against all the mediocres in the world who are seeing us trying to blaze a path. And yeah, and and we're saying no. So yeah, mediocres is a feminist anthem, and it's all about not letting anybody stand in the path of you raising your voice and saying, "Get out of my way."
Exactly. That's so amazing. I love the message. And good luck. I hope we get to see a Mam Caucasia qualification.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, we hope so too. Because if we don't, then we're taking names and we're taking it into our hands. Who kept us? Who kept us back?
Okay. Okay. Well, we will vote for you, so don't. Oh, I will vote for you, so don't hurt me. And who's next?
Well, up next we have Albion, and Albion are represented this year by Goldie with the song Frosty. So, hi Goldie. How do you feel about being chosen to represent Albion in Eurovision 20? And what was your reaction to this awesome news?
So, a bunch of super talented Albionian and affiliated with Albion artists submitted songs to the broadcaster, including moi, as they have been doing almost every Eurovisn't year, of course. The shortlist was released and I actually made it. I felt so cool, of course. But I did not think I would be selected to Evie because I'm not really like well known in Albion or across the world. So this is a very ecstatic moment for Goldie. Just like how Wee Wee felt when he discovered the garden in Wee Wee's Garden, if you know the song.
Well, we're so happy for you to get this moment. Now tell us, why is your song called Frosty and what does it mean to you?
Okay, so writing Frosty was a cathartic experience because it allowed me to express myself and release my creative and interesting but unserious and lighthearted thoughts onto paper and go wild like I never have before. The title of the song is called Frosty because it's about expressing yourself and melting your inner frost and releasing yourself and your thoughts. And it was also written when it was frosty outside in January and February because that's the time of the year that I feel the most expressive. And many of the parts of the song sound and feel frosty. They have a frosty and cold feeling to them. You can expect Frosty to be a very experimental, kind of genre blending song that is both very serious and very unserious. And it'll be so cool. It's going to be a collapse.
Wow, it sounds amazing. I really hope that everything will go well for you here in Willemstad, Goldie. So,
You
Dimitra,
you
go on.
have fun too.
Thank you so much. So, Dimitra, who we got next?
Oh, so next up is Bosnia and Herzegovina. Wait, is it this? Wait, let's see. We might have to do some. We might have to do some changing to the running water. God. Oh
Why?
no. Because, like, his problems. Like, wait. Okay, wait.
Okay. A ver. ¿Por qué? I know. No. Bueno, just ask for the
Wait,
next
what?
two. It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Or
Okay,
I'll ask
okay.
for Bosnia. That's no problem.
Yeah, okay, okay.
So
Okay.
Bosnia is our next artist. Is from Bosnia. Uh, their name is Ana Compagnia, and Anna is bringing the song Minuit moins le quart. So, Anna, we've heard next to no information regarding Bosnia's participation in this edition. So, could you tell us a little bit about your journey to Eurovisn't?
Honest, I wasn't interested in music for the longest time. I was actually studying environmental science in Paris, focusing on climate change. It is a bit of a bleak topic to study. I was quite depressed for a while, and as a way to work through this obviously very harrowing subject, my friend dragged me to this music writing workshop where I could write through these feelings and emotions I was experiencing. Eventually, I was encouraged to record the songs I would write and post them on YouTube, and apparently that was enough to get on the BHNT's radar. So here I am. I could have never imagined that this little environmental science degree could ever lead to a career in music.
Wow, well, that's a fascinating journey from learning science to representing your country on the stage at Eurovision. So, tell us a little bit about your song Minuit moins le quart, Could you give us a bit more information about it?
Of course. So, Minuit Monica is a song that came from those songwriting workshops, so I channeled a lot of anxiety and anger into the lyrics. The song's about climate change and the stress caused by it, as well as my frustration, which I think a lot of people share, towards the various world leaders that refuse to take action towards this catastrophe and existential threat that's marching towards us. I envisioned the song as a protest song to get the public motivated to get angry with me about this cause. It also serves as somewhat of a warning to the world leaders. We're all running out of patience, and if they don't act now, they will be removed, impeached, overthrown, whatever. Their time is up.
Wow, that's a really powerful message, and we hope that you'll have an amazing time here in Willemstad. So thank you so much, Anna. So who have we got up next? Tumitra.
So, who we have next is Poland, who is coming back this contest after a long hiatus. And they are represented by Julia Lipska in Poem 43. So, Julia, I think the main thing people would like to know is how come we're getting someone who doesn't sing or dance at Eurovision.
Well, hello everyone. Yes, I'm Julia, and I can understand why it seems strange. Absolutely, I'm a poet, which I think all musicians are to an extent. They just also happen to be very good at making music, and I sadly am not as good, but I still want to share my thoughts with the world through my words, and for that reason, I decided that I would just have a shot at representing Poland with this entry as part of the diaspora. And somehow, Radio Telewizja Polska decided to do something completely different for their debut. So for me, I'm just happy to be here and to be able to share my story, and hopefully some of you will be able to relate to the message. I think Eurovision is about so much more than only music, and there have been many beautiful poetic entries in the past, some of them with music and some of them just like mine. The lyrics to every song are what matter most to me every year that I've watched since I was a child. And so I hope my words resonate with you all too.
Wow. And so, and could you give us a quick explanation of what your entry is about and what it means to you?
Of course, everyone is welcome to interpret my poem in any way they like and to find their own meaning. But if I were to sum up what it means specifically to me, I would say it's about coming to terms with the fact that sometimes the things you miss are not as perfect as you remember. In my case, it's about missing my homeland, despite knowing it is by no means a good place. I remember it for all the good sides and remember the bad sides, which for you could also be about a toxic relationship from the past, you know? This is why throughout the poem I characterize my homeland as such a person who you know is toxic, but who you still miss being with. You forget all the times they hurt you because you miss the good moments and how it was then. So I think you can interpret it any way you want because loving your country when it does everything to hurt you is, my opinion, exactly the same as loving someone who does the same. There are so many young people and members of the LGBTQ plus community like myself who struggle to associate with our homeland when all it wants to do is make us feel like we'll never be what it wanted from us. And yet somehow for some reason, I still want to go back. And this poem is my way of explaining why that is and how I come to terms with all of that. And I really hope that anyone else who has felt doubts about their homeland or national identity will relate to this and know that no matter which country you're from, we all feel the same things. And all you need to do is work out your own way of coming to terms with it. And whatever your interpretation is, you should never let someone who is not worth your time occupy this much of your brain. Find your way of putting them aside and realizing that the way they are now was never the reason you love them. So I really can't wait for you to be able to hear this a few minutes after the opening ceremony is over. And thank you so much, and good luck to everyone here in Willemstad.
Wow. Beautiful interview. And I'm very excited to hear it.
Yes, likewise. I'm really looking forward to hearing this beautiful, we would say, return, but in many ways, debut of Poland. So good luck to Julia. So, what is next? Let's see what's next.
Requins, by the way.
Okay, I'm confused. Uh, I okay, but we're still doing Weas next, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we are. We are. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So next up is Weas, and they're being represented this year by the artist Zifa Ivanova, bringing a song about neurodivergency and trying to hide it called The Masked Man. So, Zifa, could you tell us a little bit about the overall message of your song and how it relates to being divergent, neurodivergent? Wow. Well, that's a very important message, and it's one that people don't think about often about how we're expected to fit into what society expects of us. So, on another note, you are the first Bashkir artist and the second artist from a former Russian territory to represent Uyaz. So, how is representing Uyaz significant to you as someone from an underrepresented group? Well, we're sure that you will, and we'll be wishing you all the best of luck here in Willemstad. Thank you so much. So, Dimitra, who do we have up next?
Oh, so next up we have Spain. And Spain is represented by Rivera Don Ipsam Dolor. So we've been told this song has an interesting backstory related to the contest itself. Could you tell us more about it?
Yes. So this song was born after my friend Ash and I were watching EV16. The song is specifically inspired by Ravi Tsubanki by Zeli, a song with a message that brings very perturbing memories to me personally, because my father is a hunter, and so was his grandfather, and so on. And he, of course, wanted me to continue his legacy, but I was never fond of hunting. At first, it was just a lack of interest, but then that became disgust, and later shame, and even distrust. And that's what the song is about. My feelings regarding what my father does. Um, so, yeah, but coming back to the origin of the song, when Ravi Chovanki appeared in the recap, I couldn't help myself but sing along. And I was like, oh my god, you're a great singer, you should go to Eurovisn't. At first, I was just thankful, but didn't take it too seriously. But they were completely serious and started trying to convince me to try. They were very persuasive, and we ended up writing a song in just a weekend, which ended up being haunted. Ever since, ever since then, that got buried, and I focused on my student life and then my writing career. But this year, it all resurfaced. I submitted the song, and thankfully, it got chosen. And that's it. And now I'm here. Hello.
And sorry. The song has a very specific message. What do you want to share with us?
Yes, well, I know this is a very specific topic that pretty much no one can relate to, but I still wanted to make something pure to myself. My father goes hunting every week, and sometimes even brings what he hunts home, which is already filled with trophies, which are just house, basically. And so basically, I am haunted by hunting. But yeah, thankfully, most people don't have hunters as fathers, and they can't relate. But lots of people do feel shame in their families and sometimes even hope they were born in a different household, one more normal, and that they wouldn't be ashamed of showing to others. Thank you.
Thank you for the interview. And is that
So, next up, we have the Faroe Islands, represented by the duo Alejandro and Mateo. So, welcome. They're bringing the song called Lo Chico de Trujillo. So, Mateo, you are bringing merengue, which is a Latin American genre. Why are you bringing this style to compete for the Faroes?
Well, first of all, hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us here. And well, we're both from the Dominican Republic, and this is a music that we both grew up with. It literally flows through our veins, and it is also very topical with our song's intentions, which is to put some light on the many discriminations the member of the LGBTQIA plus community suffer daily. And we do that through the story of these two boys who love each other, but they always have to hide their love in fear of what could happen to them if they showed their true selves to everyone else. This is actually something many Latin American people have to go through each day. They deny themselves for their own safety, and they have to endure the normalization of prejudice, mocking, and violence against the community. And it exists in almost every country in the region. All of this creates a perfect instance for us to voice some very serious issues whilst being true to our origins and our roots. And we are very happy that both the Faroe Islands and the rest of Europe and beyond allowed us to bring our message to a big stage like Eurovisn't, and also allow us to showcase some of the more beautiful aspects of both Dominican and Latin American cultures, which is also very fitting as we are celebrating Eurovisn't in the American continent for the very first time.
That's so true. That's very appropriate. Very opposite. So, Alejandro, how did you end up becoming the co-representative of the Faroes in Eurovision this year?
Hello, can you hear me?
See? Yes?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Mateo and I have been great friends for a very long time, even before since he left the Dominican Republic. We both share a big passion for music, and we even perform a lot of street gigs for the people. When he called me and explained me this big project he had started, I couldn't say no. I was captivated by it, and was also very excited to see my friend succeed with something I know he truly believes in. When Mateo showed me the song, we both came to the conclusion that revamping it into a story told by the two protagonists and trying to show how they felt by keeping their true self in the shadows, and how, despite the consequences they may suffer, are also willing to fight for their love, would bring a layer of depth to the song that it didn't have as it was before. So when Mateo presented me with this new version of the lyrics, I knew we had something very special in the making. And I think I'm not wrong. I believe our final product is something amazing, and we can't wait to share with all of you. And regardless of the result we get at the competition, we are immensely proud of our work. And we also hope that the Paris people will be very proud of it as well, even if we aren't from here. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Now, Dimitra, who do we have next?
Next up, we have the Northern. And the numbing lens will be used for. Well, no, not be used for. Sorry. Forgive me. I mean, represented by Akuma and the song Devil's Advocate. So, for those who aren't familiar. Oh, shit. Did I change one of these? Oh, there it is. How did you become a band?
Well, that's a funny question. We actually were Norman exchange students, and we met in Tokyo. Actually, we didn't meet in Norman lands. We met in Tokyo as exchange students, and because of being from the same place, we got to know each other a lot and became friends quickly. We discovered we had a passion for music, and when we separated and came back to the Norman lands, we still visited each other regularly. Still, we thought about, making a band and making something bigger out of our initial friendship. So yeah, I'd say we're very united as a band, and since we have many years of performing in Tokyo, in Norman lands, in neighboring countries, and we're very happy that that friendship has led us here.
Oh, wow. What's the story behind Devil's Advocate? Excuse me? Excuse me?
Don't worry.
Hello?
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 Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
something strange.
Hello.
Hello. What was the second question? Sorry. Forgive us.
What
We
is
are
the story
we
behind Devil's
yeah we got
Advocate?
a bit lost. Well,
Okay.
Devil's Advocate is a very heavy song. It's quite a change for the normal lens because Devil's Advocate has a more, let's say, personal story that relates to a darker time of our lives. So, the very concept of Devil's Advocate is toxic family, and we are tiny to Devil's Advocate, the argument where someone pretends to like choose a bad option, an option that many people agree with, just so people discuss it. We're using that same concept that applies to many families around the world. Many parents or even sisters or grandparents um, use they aren't good with you. They are toxic. They are always comparing you with each other, and the message that the song wants to bring is that to stand up for ourselves, that we are not a game, and that even if they're our family, our hearts aren't made for them to play with it. So it's quite a heavy subject as we've suffered. Um, some of our members have had really bad relationships with their parents, street parents that control our lives, and they say it's for your good, but actually it does more damage because all the trauma, all the sadness, all the feeling of being alone and being stranded from your own family comes from that way of teaching, that way that some generations have of using violence and using like degrading words to treat with each other, to treat with their children. So this song is basically a shout for everyone that has lived in a toxic environment and to say that stop playing the devil's advocate for with our hearts. We are not a game, and that's the message we want to bring to Eurovision. Thank you so much.
Wow.
So now, Dimitra, I believe you're going to talk with one of your countrywomen in terms of somebody who came from your homeland, original homeland of Miss Catalovia, right?
Oh, yeah, I am. And he is Safura Enima. She is going, she represented Miss Catalovia back in Eurovision 17. And she is back 3 years later with the song Censor. So, hello.
Hi, everyone. Yes, you might know me. I'm Swara Anima. My full name is Swara Inima, which is a bit ridiculous to anyone who speaks Romanian because it literally means heartstrings. Because for that reason, nobody takes a single thing I say seriously because they think I have a stupid name. So
Yeah,
you can call me Go on. You can call
so
me Tell me.
for those who are not familiar with your artwork, how will you consider your art?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm a lot more known in my own country as a dark wave artist, playing some of the biggest venues in Chisinau. But I also write poetry in my free time, and I sell collections of it. And I might have a short collection coming out soon to mark these special occasions. And if you recognize me, it might be because I represented my country last 3 years ago with the song Human versus Self, which got seventh overall. But I don't necessarily consider that to be a proper representation of my art anymore. I took a break from my former and current work because it was taking a hold of me mentally. But I realized after Eurovisn't that it was important that my music should take a political term because music is a driving force, not just towards catharsis, but potentially to a brighter future. A lot of people think that artists don't have feelings and are robotic, but here in Miss Catalovia, we know that isn't true because we have such a large wave of artists that share this kind of message and their heart and their feelings. So after a little while, I got back into working in my music and I took the same approach, even if it meant that I have to bear a little more pain. And I'm so glad to be back here at Eurovisn't, not being afraid to show who I truly am and to really show my true musical identity too.
So, yesterday, Censor was announced to the Miss Calovian audience and has layers and layers of depth within the title. May you please explain more about it?
Yes, of course. So, my song for Eurovisn't is titled Censor, but with the C represented with a euro sign and the S with a dollar sign. And this song was a demo for a few years, but one that I've worked on from time to time since then. The title refers to how the cries of people addicted to nicotine, alcohol, caffeine, and other substances, constantly advertised, are suppressed by the media. Because it's through these innocent people's addictions that greedy corporations make their money. That's how the cruel world works. So my song's lyrics are the cries from help from those who suffer from those addictions and can't get out. And within those cries are my own cries for help because I was addicted to caffeine from as young as 13. And I just wanted, at those days, happiness in life and a boost of energy. And people told me it was a good thing. And I thought it was a good thing, but I was so wrong, you know? And people would joke about people who withdrew being brain dead zombies without their coffee. And I felt so much shame, even though it's not my fault. None of this is my fault. I would never have known how addicted I would get or that I would eventually overdose on lethal levels of caffeine with everyone watching, laughing at me and making my suffering this joke. I'm almost dying and I am the joke. And it made me think, why are certain drugs just normalized, readily available, seen as a good thing, and used so often, even by children in society? If we tried to raise a generation without normalizing drugs and actually provided the proper mental health support, instead of shaming addicts, uh, blaming them and criminalizing drugs and locking them up, as so many countries unfortunately do, unless they're drugs that are backed by corporations that make up economies and help out the government and rich upper classes. Because that's the truth at the end of the day. Drugs are only drugs if they can't help the government, if you can't put money into the coffers of the taxman. In some countries, some drugs are still so normalized when others can only be used for medicinal purposes. And they are criminalized. And innocent people are put in prison, left to suffer, to be in withdrawal, to rot, and to die. And so my song is all about that. It's all about how information that is for the greater good gets censored because the greater good always comes second to the corporation's good.
Wow, that's such an important message. Thank you for the interview. And good luck in the contest.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. And next up is Iceland, represented by I'm not Charlotte and Yasmin, and Yeah. So, Charlotte, why do you go to Iceland to study when there's more options like the US?
Well, I really like experiencing cold weathers since my country. The Philippines is more tropical simulate. I like Iceland more because its seas are so amazing and all from wonders like volcano noise and northern lights.
And Yasmin, how did you feel when the GRE staff announced you with Charlotte as representatives for Eurovision?
Well, I was shocked to be honest. I really didn't know before that we're recording a song not for just, releasing it and stuff. But I was shocked because the song that we wrote was submitted by Charlotte without me knowing. So I was like shocked when I went into Twitter and I saw our faces in a post by TRE.
Oh, okay. Wow. Thank you for the interview. And who's next?
So, up next, we have our penultimate country, which is Catalonia. Catalonia are bringing an artist known to many of us already, Norfeu, and they're bringing a song called Destinat. So, Norfeu, what do you think convinced the Catalan delegation to internally select you for this Eurovisn't?
Well, first of all, hi everyone. Well, first of all, I have to say it was a great surprise to see that I was elected for this year. And I think this was part of what motivated their decision. They knew that I truly am a Eurovision lover. And I was even before I started making music. And I only started making music when I was 18. That was the year I began to live alone. And while I'm lucky enough not to struggle economically or mentally, music was a way for me to discover myself at a time when folks didn't really understand me, and so was I. And now I'm 24. I'm a working man who still stands out in the crowd, and my art is really like multi-purpose. And the delegation obviously knows that I tried to participate in the event already twice. That was in Jervis Bay and then mainly in Catalonia back in year 16. And at that time, my music had just started to find a way into a slightly bigger scene. And I really love everything about Eurovisn't. I love the diversity, I love all the cultures that we can see, and I love what it stands for. So it's really, really an honor to be standing here in the opening ceremony and about to compete in what is my favorite song contest. And the day the delegation told me they were really interested by my music, they were saying that based on what they've seen from me, that was already worth considering me for Eurovisn't, and that was something that I was really flattered by, considering my music has been really evolving for the last almost decade. And my music, I can't really define the music that I make because there isn't a formula that I could apply to all of my songs, but the common elements that there is, as a listener, you can't really know them because they are mostly happening in my creative process. I get inspired by always very deep thought of mind, not necessarily sad ones, but always things that make me consider what makes the human being such a complex, like almost animal. I always say that my art is inspired by the youth too, because this is the kind of thoughts that we all share. We are all thinking deep about what's the meaning of everything that's happening in our lives, especially when we know that the future isn't looking bright. So, I think that's some of the things that convinced the delegation.
Now tell me, your song is called Destinat. What is the meaning behind this song, and what do you think makes the song as unique as it is?
Well, to be honest, I wrote Destinat before I got selected, and I didn't think it would be worth it to release it then. But because it was like really out of my comfort zone, and I didn't think the folks that are listening to my music would get it. But when I got the call, I thought that this would be the opportunity to take this huge risk, and this would be, and Eurovisn't is a place to surprise, and we always see it every year. And obviously, I won't reveal everything that makes this song unique before you can all hear it, which, by the way, you will all be able to soon. Well, I'll be able to say a lot. Well, Destinat doesn't really have a genre, and usually I struggle defining which genre is each song, but for this it's true. Like, my inspirations are multiple. The sounds in this song are really diverse, and as a whole, I don't think this sounds like anything you ever has seen. And it's a song with really simple sound, but also some that will be confusing. And it all makes sense with the concept of the song. Destinat means destined in Catalan, and it's about every time that you can simplify life and everything that it's made up of. And that is wrong. Life cannot be made simple. As I'm sure everyone listening here knows by our experiences. Life is always complex. And that's why I titled this song about destiny. Destiny, that's this concept that says that everything that happens in life is meant to be, which is something that can be reassuring sometimes, but it's an answer to nothing. And even with destiny on your mind, folks won't end up the way they want to. Folks will get sad, and the world is still a place where most is hidden, and most is beyond our control. And that thing about how life is hard and complex, that can be applied to so many other concepts. Whether we are talking about karma, or about talking the whole concept of faith, and even in religion, the concept of your actions being judged and decided, and that whole heaven and hell thing, that's that that is bullshit. I'm gonna say it, because the truth is, it is never that simple. Determinism has always been proven to be wrong, or at least to make a complex situation look more irrational. But something that is simple and that I highlight in my song is that in the end, if there's anything that goes right or that goes wrong, you are always the centerpiece of your life. Even if you don't find the path of your life, someone will keep you here, and it's you. So my message overall is to stop thinking life will get simpler when it won't. You can not because it's sad or anything. Like, you always have to try to make sure everything necessary to make yourself survive in this world. You have to care first about yourself. I don't necessarily think it's a bad message, but it's one that I think everyone should hear.
Wow, Nordfa, thank you for a beautiful interview, and we can't wait to hear your songs. Thank you so much, and have a great time here in Willemstad.
Thank you.
So, Dimitra, I believe we close with the host entry as a tradition, right?
Yes, we do. And representing our country is Renate Nutte. and her song Puzzle. For many people, you were a very surprising color winner. Why do you think this is? And were you always confident you could win the festival?
Hi, hi everybody. Yeah, so it's such a pleasure to be here uh, in Willemstad representing Luxembourg. Uh, it's something that honestly I didn't think was possible. Uh, you know, it was something that I did as a bit of a punt, really, because I thought, there's no way that they're going to choose a song like mine to represent their country. I don't really have much of a connection with Luxembourg, and also even people who are close to me said, "Well, this isn't the kind of song that I like. This is a very different style from everything that I've sent before." Uh, and also, the people in Luxembourg tend to have more of a connection with more downbeat songs, sadder songs. So I went into this entire experience no real with no real preconceptions about my chance of winning. And maybe that's what helped me win because I was just there giving it my all. I was there to tell my story. I was there to try to get people dancing. I was there to try to get people feeling my message. And the result was just secondary for me, really.
Oh, wait. Wow. And what's the story behind your host entry puzzle?
So basically, Basso is a song that I wrote in the aftermath of a hookup with an ex of mine. And this ex was someone who didn't want to be with me, but at the same time didn't want me to be with anyone else because they kind of wanted me to be there still. They wanted to have this sense of security that whenever they wanted some intimacy, whenever they wanted to feel passion, and they could always come to me. And unfortunately, I didn't have enough self esteem to tell them at that time, no, you either want to be with me or you don't want to be with me. And so for a couple of years, I was subconsciously, I guess, putting off fully moving on from this relationship because I was thinking, well, we'll keep hooking up and maybe the feelings that were behind the passion, maybe the actual emotional connection will come back eventually. But the last time that we met, I just felt finally that I was being a fool, because and what really got it for me was I've grown up with struggles about my own, you know, body image, and that night when we met up for the last time, I genuinely felt uh desirable. I genuinely felt sexy. And what I wasn't expecting was just to get cast aside. Basically, I got the feeling from my ex that everything was on their terms. And I was just like, I wasn't the main dish, let's say. I was just some sandwich meat that could be kept in the fridge and taken out whenever he wanted. And I felt terrible. I felt devalued. But at the same time, I felt angry. And that anger was enough to motivate me to say, pues no, yo paso. I'm passing. I give up. I've had enough. I have enough value in myself to not be seen as some glorified leftover. I'm not going to be somebody that you can just call and come running for you. I have more self esteem than that. There are people who would be happy to be with me. There are people who would fall over to be with me. And if you're not one of them, then move over so that they can have their chance instead. So I'm kind of glad that that episode happened, even though it was devaluing, because it was the push that I needed to say, anybody in my life who doesn't appreciate me, pues yo paso. I've had enough of you. I'm moving on. And I went to the studio, and I was originally going to make quite an angry song. But instead, I ended up making quite an upbeat song because I felt this sense of catharsis in a way that was different than how I'd previously felt it. I felt like, yeah, I'm gonna make this song that will make people dance, that will make me want to dance, but will fill them with the positive energy of feeling like they too don't need to take shit from anybody. You know, this is an anthem for everybody who's been made to feel second best, and you, like me, don't need to feel that way anymore. Pasamos. Let's all value each other enough to never let anybody treat us just like a backup plan. So I came out with this song, one of the most upbeat songs I made, and I really hope that it can lift people's spirits and make them feel the way that I do. Because everybody has their value, everybody has their worth, and your actions help define how worthy you are. If you let other people in your life undermine your value, if you let other people in your life treat you like you're not worth consideration, then you're undermining your own value. So I'm trying to tell people, don't do that. Instead, get up there, have a great time, and get people out of your life who want to hold you behind and treat you like their safety. So that's the inspiration for Paso. And I'm so, so delighted to be here representing Luxembourg, and I really hope I can do this country justice as a host entry.
You will. And no matter the result, you're gonna make us proud. I wish you luck, and I hope you will slay at the contest. Thank you for
Thank you
the
so
opening.
much.
No, thank you. And thank you all for attending the opening ceremony. And make sure to attend Pauline's premiere.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, everybody who's come. It was a great show. It was like an hour and a half. I think that's a very good time, actually. You know, and we had some amazing interviews and stories. And yeah, I hope you'll have a great time here in Wilhelmstad, and it'll be an evening to, an edition to remember. What? So.